Okay, in this video, we'll use the file travel data temp. You'll see why it's called that in a few seconds. To illustrate two important properties of pivot table, things you can do with pivot tables. Spelled that wrong. Oh, still another T. Sorry about that. Okay. And basically we'll talk about grouping and pivot charts. And we'll have more on pivot charts later. Okay, so let's explain the data. So suppose you work for a small travel agency and you've got data from people in your city, and for each person you know their gender, male or female, you know their age, and you know the amount they spent on travel last year. So the question is, who spends a lot on travel? In other words, you want to segment your market, maybe email to these people or contact them in some way. Sponsor Facebook ads for them, whatever. Okay, in today's world. Okay, so the first thing you might do is say, hey, men and women, who spends more on travel? So you'd go Insert, Pivot Table. It's got my data. Okay, so the row field, I'll just start with gender in exploratory fashion, male and female, and amount spent on travel to values. Okay, now the problem is, what is this 413,000? It's the total amount women spent on travel. I want the average amount, and this is a very common thing. Excel has decided to summarize my data by sum, not average. I want to change it to average. I can double click on that heading, and I can change it to average, or sometimes you change it to count. Okay, so now I know the average amount men and women spent on travel. Women spent $901 on average on travel, men $915. Not much of a difference, so that's not really telling me who to mail to. So that's why pivot tables are great. You can change the way you summarize the data. So you go in here, okay, and so you see the field list. Let's pivot out gender, and maybe we'll put in age here, and look at how we did it for different ages. So we'd see 25-year-olds would spend this amount, $949 on travel. 26-year-olds, this amount average on travel. Probably hear police siren. I'm taping this in a hotel in New York City. Okay, 28-year-olds spend this amount on travel. And that's what we would call TMI, too much information. We'd like to group the data by age. So maybe find out what 25 to 34-year-olds spend, etc. So if you right-click on the first column, you can group the data. Right-click, group, 25 to 64, 10-year increments. And so then we now see that the 25 to 34-year-olds spend an average of $936 on travel. The 35 to 44-year-olds, $896 on travel. The 45 to 54-year-olds, $898 on travel, etc. And so the age is not really telling us who we should mail to. So maybe we should break it down by age and gender. Well, that's easy. Just drag gender to the column field. Okay, and now we see what's going on. It's made up data. But as the women get older, they spend more on travel. See, the numbers get bigger in the female column. And as the men get older, they spend less on travel. The numbers get smaller in the male column. So who should I mail to? I should contact, if I want to get a lot of travel business, contact the older women and the younger men. And I won't make any further comment on that. But it's basically just made up data. Maybe true, maybe it's not. But you know, it's a Chinese proverb, I think. A picture's worth 1,000 words. I think that comes from Confucius. And so basically, maybe we want a chart. So we can summarize any pivot table with chart. Put your cursor inside the table. Go to Analyze. And go to Pivot Chart. Okay, and clustered column, I'll take that. That's okay. I'll show you how to change this in a minute. So in other words, what does this chart show me? Okay, and I can filter in here if I wanted to on age. But it shows me the red is the average amount spent on travel by males in each age group. The blue is the average amount spent by females. We see as the women get older, they spend, as the men get older, they spend less. The women get older, they spend more. Now, if I wanted to change the chart type, I could right-click, change chart type, and maybe I want a stacked column here. Okay, so let's try that, because I think that shows what's going on better. See, this chart shows the heights of each age group are the same. So the average total amount spent on travel by people in each age group is the same. But we can see the red becomes a smaller part of the bar as the age increases, and the blue becomes a bigger part of the bar So the women spend more on average than the men, but in each age group, the average amount spent per person is the same. So we can see in this pivot table example that we can change the way we summarize the data from sum to average. We also saw how to set up a nice chart based on the pivot table. And I think this really shows the utility of pivot tables almost better than any example I have. We started with 900 or so rows of data, which we had no idea what was going on in travel tendencies, and we figured out exactly what was going on. In other words, a pattern that I made up was easily found using pivot tables.
Okay, so thanks for watching, and there's a free course, a free 21-day course from Dr. Winston, and all of these videos are coming from one of 3 books. So first, this one, which you can see here at the top of the screen, Microsoft's book, which has 355 reviews, and then it's, let's see, 4.6 stars. It's coming from this book as well, his marketing analytics book, which is down here, and you can sort of see 4.5, or his newest book, his analytics stories book, which is here. And with that one, you can see it's 4 point something, or maybe even 5. I don't think it's 5. Yeah, 4.8. And so, yeah, anyways, in the description, there's a free 21-day course from Dr. Winston, or you can go to excelwithwayne.com/free, and it'll be there. But again, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, just please let us know. Thanks.